Now this pastry dough recipe is the same that I used for my cheese roll, and I'll put a link in the description box below to my cheese roll recipe as well. What I've done is I've added 2 cups of flour. I've also added a half a cup of butter, or also 1 stick of butter, and in that case I just grated it in because it's much more easier to work with, and then a half a cup of shortening. Now at this point I'm going to use my fingertips to mix all of those ingredients together until you've reached a nice crumble. So once I've gotten it to this crumbly texture, as you can see here, it is very crumbly. You saw from my demonstration I was using my fingertips, but another way that my grandmother taught me is also you can just scoop up some in the palm of your hands and just give it a nice shake and just give it a nice rub, and that will also help it get a little bit crumbly. Now at this point what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the brand Juliana spicy curry powder to my dough. So I've added about 1.5 teaspoons to start with, and I'm just going to pour it inside of my dough. This is not only going to give it a nice color, but it is going to have a little bit of a curry flavor to it as well, and I'm going to just mix that into my dough. Alright, so now that I've added my curry powder in and I've mixed it all together, it has this nice yellow color. I'm going to gradually add in some ice cold water. Now with this ice cold water, what I'm going to do is continue to use my fingertips but bring the dough together. Remember, just gradually add it in. I'm not going to add in all at the same time. So instead of making it crumbly, this time you're kneading all of that crumble together using your fingertips. Now I've just made my dough into a long log shape, and I'm in the habit of trying my best to make things look as neat as possible because that's how my mom is. But truly, it's okay if it doesn't look perfectly neat. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap this in saran wrap and put it in the fridge for about half an hour. You can put it in the fridge for half an hour to an hour long. So it's been about a half an hour at this point, and I've taken the dough out of the fridge and I've started on making the pastry itself. So I'm gonna go through how to make it. This is just one of the finished pans. This was my first attempt at making it, and then my mom showed me how it's actually done, and then I was able to do the rest. So I'll walk you through how to do it as well. So the first thing that you're gonna do is get your dough and divide a piece of it. You're then going to use your rolling pin to roll it out. So what I'm going to do now is just use the lid of a jar, and I'm going to dip it in some flour very lightly. And I'm going to use it almost like a cookie cutter and make a round shape with my dough. So I'm going to pick that round shape up, and in my pastry pan, which I've sprayed with some cooking oil, I'm going to put the dough down and just lift it up like this. Then I'm going to use some egg wash just on the side of the pastry here. Now what I'm going to do, so my mom had already prepared some ground beef and we had this in the fridge, so that's why I decided to make some beef patties with it. She made it with some different types of seasoning, some carrots, and some corn. But Brand Juliana also sent me their Hell Hot pepper sauce. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add some of this pepper sauce to the ground beef to give it a nice spicy flavor. If you love a lot of pepper sauce, then go ahead and add a lot. I'm just going to add a little bit so that everyone in my house can enjoy the beef patties, because not everyone loves a lot of pepper. Then I'm going to scoop some of my ground beef inside of the pastry. Once I'm satisfied with that, I'm going to grab my second rounded piece and lay it on top, a nice covering. I'm going to use the back of a fork then to merge the two pieces of dough together like this. I'm going to continue that process until I'm all the way finished. So once all of the patties are finished, you're going to pop it in the oven at 355 degrees. All right guys, there you go. The pastry itself is so flaky and delicious. It has that hint of curry powder in it from Brand Juliana. And these are your nice Guyanese style beef patties. They were in the oven for about 30 minutes at 355.